Howdy everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over some of the worst theories I have ever heard in The Sims 2, because throughout my time, in the Sims 2 sort of community, just looking at stuff in The Sims 2 and watching different videos, because I like to see what people have to say about characters that I like, characters I dislike, and stuff like that. I just like to see what people are talking about. And throughout my time here, I have seen some of the worst theories known to man. Some of the most horrendous theories that you just cannot understand how people come up with this stuff. I mean, it is terrible. It goes from people, claiming that characters are murderers when they haven't actually killed anybody, to people claiming that that some of the characters are groomers and creeps. When we're talking about The Sims 2 here, it's just horrendous, man. There are some terrible theories here. I mean, damn, it is bad. It is bad. I don't know how people come up with this shit. I mean, my goodness, it is bad. It is bad. I mean, we be out here accusing innocent Sims of doing terrible shit. I mean, it is bad. So, yeah, I've been wanting to do this video for a while on sort of these terrible theories and sort of debunk them, because there's so many bad ones, bro. There's so many bad ones. I probably didn't even get to cover all of them in this video, but there's some pretty horrendous theories. Maybe I'll do a part 2 where I cover some more theories if I can find any more. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get on with it. Alright, so getting started with some of these terrible theories, let's get started with the first one. And that is that Michael Bachelor is a creep. Now, the reason people think Michael Bachelor in The Sims 2 is a creep is because, well, first up, it's just the fact he's an elder and he was married to Dina, who's an adult. Personally, I don't have an issue with that because presumably they met as adults, the same with Mortimer, but here's where sort of the issue lies with a lot of people and why they believe Michael Bachelor is a creep. In Dina's memories, her first kiss with Michael was when she would have been a teenager and Michael presumably would have been an adult. Now, people seem to take this as a fact, and this means that, Michael is a creep, which I just think is ridiculous. This is The Sims 2. This is The Sims 2, bro. And the memories have been shown to, be, a lot of the memories are developer oversights. If you actually go on the, I forgot what the podcast name was or whatever it was, where they talk about The Sims 2, they will mention that some of Brandy's memories are just developer oversights, like, the birth of her child, with Skip. So, there's a lot of developer oversight when it comes to the memories in the game. A lot of them don't make sense. For example, Olive Spectre was pregnant with Nervous Subject, her son, when she was an elder. The memories in the game don't always line up and make much sense. A lot of them are, they don't make sense. For example, another one is Mortimer's career. It says he got promoted before he even got married to Bella Goth, which doesn't line up with The Sims 1, because when he was already married to Bella before he'd ever gotten any promotions in the science career. So that doesn't line up. So a lot of the memories in the game don't line up, and they don't make any sense. So this, I just believe, is false. Simply, I am like 99.9% sure that Michael was not intended to be a creep. Because I think, I think it's simple. I think they were meant to have a kiss, but I think it was presumed that Michael was an adult. No. Dina was an adult and Michael was an elder when they had their kiss. That's what I assume. Or maybe they were both adults at that time. I don't know. I just think this one's kind of goofy here. And also, a lot of the people bring up Dina's age. Dina's age actually doesn't make any sense in the game. Dina and Nina's age. They are way too young when the game begins. They are only 28 days, I believe, away from being an elder. So they are like freshly adults when The Sims 2 starts. Which doesn't make any sense because she was already married to Michael Bachelor quite a while before the events of The Sims 2. So unless Dina was married to Michael Bachelor for one whole day, her age doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Her age makes no sense. She should be a lot older in The Sims 2 in terms of how far she is into the adult life state, because she was already married to Michael as an adult. So she shouldn't be freshly an adult because she was married to Michael a while back, so she should be at least a few days into her adult life. Next up, we have another theory to do with Dina, I guess, and that is that Mortimer and Dina teamed up to get rid of Bella. A lot of people believe this theory. I don't. I think it doesn't make any sense when you consider the fact that Mortimer and Dina met on the eve of his wife's disappearance. So they had met a day before her disappearance. So I don't think that would be enough time for Mortimer to go, oh shit, I'm gonna get my wife abducted. Like, I just don't think after one day or like 5 minutes of talking to Dina, he would suddenly decide, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of my wife who I've been married to for decades. Like, what? That just doesn't make any sense. Why would he so quickly turn his back on his wife and decide to get rid of her all because of Dina? It just doesn't make any sense. After one day? What? No, that just doesn't make any sense. Him and Dina teaming up just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, he was attracted to Dina, but I don't think he would have teamed up with her to get rid of his wife a day before she disappeared. Doesn't make any sense. Next up, we have... Some people believe that Bella was murdered, like she was actually killed, and, you know, stuff like that. I don't believe Bella was killed. I think it's been pretty much proven she was not killed or murdered by anybody. Some people think Don killed her. Nah, I think a lot of people make Don out to be like this murderous, evil, you know, woman-beating, horrible character. He's not evil. He's just an idiot. Like, people make out Don to be like such a sadistic, evil man when he's not. He's just an idiot. He's a bumbling idiot who, you know, gets all these women. The guy's an asshole, but he's not evil. I would never consider Don evil. Or would I ever consider him a threat? The only person he's a threat to is people's feelings. That's the only thing he's a threat to. I'm pretty sure most of the other Sims in Pleasant View could probably beat Don's ass. This man ain't intimidating, alright? He ain't no threat. I don't believe Don is as sinister as some people make him out to be. I fully believe the man's just a buffoon. Another pretty popular theory is, well, it's not even a theory. They tried to make it a thing in The Sims 2 on PSP, and that is that Bella never truly loved Mortimer and only married him for the money. Which makes no sense when you consider the fact that they met as children. They met as children. This theory falls apart immediately when you realize they met as children. So that just wouldn't make much sense. They were childhood best friends. Why would she suddenly marry him for the money? It just doesn't make any sense, bro. It doesn't make any sense. I hate that The Sims 2 on PSP tried to make this a thing. I just think it's really stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I think this whole Bella being a gold digger theory also falls apart when you think that Dina's a gold digger. So Mortimer was already married to a gold digger and then he got with another one. That kind of just takes away from the impact of Dina being a gold digger. If Bella was already a gold digger, which she clearly wasn't, it is goofy. It is goofy. And I think it really ruins Bella's character by trying to make her into this gold digger that never cared about her family and never cared about Mortimer or the kids. It just makes her a really unsympathetic character. Like, with Bella, I view her as a very sympathetic person who, you know, it's a sad story. She gets taken away from her family and never sees them again. That is tragic. But when you add this whole, you know, sort of theory that she never actually cared about him, it takes away any sympathy you had for her. It just sort of goes, well, she was a piece of shit, so I don't really feel that bad. So it's like, you know, I think by making Bella, you know, into this gold digger who never really cared about her family, it just, it ruins her character. Now, the next sort of theory I'm going to be going over sort of applies to two of the characters in Pleasant View that some people think are murderers. Some people think Brandy Broke killed her husband. I don't personally believe this. She just seems like way too nice of a character, and it just, like, unlike with Olive Spectre from Strangetown, she is very clearly intended to be a serial killer by, you know, the fact that she's, you know, a pretty horrible person. Like, she isn't a nice person at all, and she's kind of an eerie character, so she's very obviously intended to be a serial killer. Whereas with Brandy Broke, you just don't get that vibe. You don't get any sort of, you know, hint in the game that she killed her husband. Of course, her husband died in the mysterious pool ladder accident. I think his death is just simply meant as a joke, because of, obviously, when you remove the pool ladder, they die. So, that's sort of, I think it's just a joke. I don't think it's meant to be that Brandy had any involvement with his death, because from everything we see in the album photos, she had a very good relationship with her husband. So, yeah, I don't believe this at all. Also, Another one people think was a killer was Dina Caliente. Dina's obviously a gold digger, but I don't see her as a murderer. I think she's too goofy of a character to be a murderer. A lot of people make her out to be this more sinister character and more of kind of a scumbag, when she really isn't. Like, all things considered, Dina's a pretty nice person. Like, she obviously cares a lot about money, and fashion, and getting expensive stuff. So obviously she's a very money hungry person, but she's not evil. She's not an evil person. She wouldn't kill a person. And some people think, she killed, what's his face? Michael Bachelor. Michael Bachelor died of old age. Michael Bachelor was just old as balls. That's why he died. Because he was really old. But yeah, that was not Dina. Dina could not have killed this man of old age. So yeah, I think that theory's kind of dumb.